All right. So let me get out of this, start from the beginning. How to log on to Blackboard. This is step number one. You would go to the Marymount homepage. Go to Marymount. It's all over the place, but we're gonna right now just go to quick links. Go to Blackboard. You'll be presented with this page, and you put in your email address and the password you use. That is step one, everyone. You have to do that to get into Blackboard. Just so we know, everything I'm going to be doing here is being recorded. You guys can refer back to it, and I'm going to be covering the basics. And basically, here is an outline of everything we're going to cover that can be accessed via the library web links page. I could send you this in an email. It is all over the web page. It's on the continuity of instruction page. But for easy sakes, go to the library, LibGuides, and then right here, a Blackboard resource for instructors. We're going to talk about adding content, announcements, sending emails, these are the bare basics. If you don't know these, you can't continue to the advanced features, which are assignments and grade centers, discussions, tests, and if we have time, we can even get into Zoom. Now, so we log into Blackboard, and I'm going to go to a dummy course that I've created for this purpose. Give me 1 second. You won't have access to this because you are not an admin. Can't spell training. All right, so here is the course. When you see your course link, which is on the left-hand side, you'll enter your course. This is the blank page. Let's just talk about the basics of the layout. These are basically your links to your course. Think of it as like, your homepage links. And these are the actual content areas. By default, it goes to the homepage, which has your announcements. I'm going to get to announcements in 1 second, but the first step you should do in your Blackboard course is post your syllabus. And as you see, most professors will post the syllabus under the information tab. Now, I just want to show you one click before I show you how to post your syllabus. See this chevron arrow right here? That'll be accompanied by any content area that you created. This will give you the opportunity to edit that content or even delete it. So for this purpose, just to show you how to use the chevron arrow, I'm going to rename, and you can do this or you don't have to do it. Hold on a second, we got a visitor. Admit. Hey, Diana. We have begun. We just started. You haven't missed anything. I'm showing the point of changing titles. So here it is again. I'm sorry. I want to change this from information to syllabus. I just want to show you how you can use a chevron arrow to edit things. So I'm going to click that, and I'm going to rename. You could hide it. You could delete it. For this case, I'm going to rename it. Click yes, and voila, it's changed from information to syllabus. You could leave it as information. I was just doing that just to show you the extent of the software capability, but you're going to be using that throughout. And the operations are the same in every way, adding and deleting content. So let's click on syllabus. And this goes right to, this is basically your stage where you're going to upload content and assessments and things like that. So to create a syllabus, we have two options. You go to build content, and the top two items are what you're going to be using all the time. The main difference between posting an item and a file is simple. A file is just uploads the file directly and doesn't give you an opportunity to name or to comment on the file. Where item gives you the opportunity to upload a file and leave some text that will accompany the file. Let's first create just a simple file, and then we'll create it as an item, and we'll delete it. So I'm going to click on File, and you'll see this screen. I'm going to name it syllabus. Then I'm going to browse my computer. This is just like any attachment, same technology, adding an attachment to the email, same technology in here as in any computer-based program. You click browse my computer. I have this syllabus saved on the front on my desktop. I'm going to open it. And then there's options here. For the sake of this discussion, we're going to leave all these options as default. It'll take too long to go into all of these, unless certain cases. I'll go over it briefly, but it's best to just leave it by default until you leave it by default settings until you get really comfortable with the software and you want to control it more. It's going to be default. It's going to be yes. This is pretty self-explanatory. Display after and until. If you wanted to change time and control the time, you do that. But we're just going to leave it all default, and I suggest you guys leave everything default until you get familiar with the software. So then I click submit, and voila. There it is, a straight syllabus. Your students would see this, they'd click on that, and the file will come up. I have stolen Dr. Brown's syllabus, and there it is. It'll come up in the application. And there it is. There it is. So I'm going to close that. That's the syllabus. Now I'm going to show you how to do it the other way, which is there are two options. And then I'm going to stop and see if everyone's got are with me, because this, if you can't do this, it's going to be problematic. This is the most important part of the software. So like I said, anytime you enter anything, this chevron arrow is going to appear next to it. This is the key to controlling the data. Hold on, I got another one. Emily, you're late. Sit down. We're just started. We're gonna talk about this again. I'll go over what we're just learning, but please be patient. So here's syllabus, right? I want to delete this because I want to show you how to upload it with an item, which will enable us the ability to add text. So you click here and you scroll down to edit. You could edit it. I mean, scroll down to delete. You could edit it if you want to change it or something. But for purpose of this example, we're going to delete it. So now it is deleted. And now I'm going to show you how to post it as an item. And the difference between that, as you saw in the folder, it's just one file and name. But in this instance, it will give you opportunity to add text to your file that you're going to upload. So here is, I'm going to say, this is the updated syllabus. There are major changes, blah, 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 doing because of the situation we're in, etc., etc. Browse my computer, same technique. And guys, I'm going to slow down again. This is just like attaching a file on an email. It's just grabbing something that you must have saved locally, which in this case I have on my desktop, and then upload it. So I'm going to go that, and then I click submit. And there it is. See the difference between item and file? File was just the name of it, straight up. If you choose the item, you could add text to the file that you've uploaded. Remember, the chevron arrow will be attached to everything that you upload or manipulate. Upload, and that will give you the ability to manipulate it. I am now going to catch my breath and see if everyone understands this, because this is the most important part. We must all understand these basic concepts of uploading files. Do not feel embarrassed if you don't. I could share the screen with you and make you do it if you're having problems with this right now. But I must be assured that we all could do this part. Now I'm going to figure out how to, all right, unmute all. All right, questions? Yeah. Willie Falcaro, how are you? Willie Falcaro. All right, I'm going to call on people. Richard Teets, are you comfortable with uploading your syllabus?
Yeah, I think I am. Thanks.
That's pretty good. Connor, how are you doing?
I'm well. Actually, I didn't know you could change the links on the left, the titles. That's
Yeah,
actually useful.
that's pretty good. But you're comfortable with this. this is the most important basic feature, and if we have trouble with this, then we can't continue. Diana, you good?
Yeah, I had my syllabus in before.
You are awesome. Steve, how about yourself?
Yeah, I've been using it since the start of the semester.
Oh, that is awesome. So I'm glad that some of you guys are bored. This is making me happy. But for the sake of this, we have to just talk about everything, and that is the most important feature. And just to be reintroduced to it again is helpful. And like Steve or Connor said, you can pick up little tiny things like changing the name, things like that. So is Millie still there? Is she around? Millie? All right, Millie. I'm gonna unmute. I'm gonna mute everyone and go and continue with the discussion. All right, so now we have added the syllabus, and now this is a very important feature that we must all use in this case. The most important thing right now with our students is communication. Like we have to over communicate if possible. Keep them informed about what's going on and try to interact with them as much as possible. So let me stop right there. Before I go, let's say after this session, you've learned some tricks and trades and you want to put them up on your course shell, but you're kind of not so sure if you've retained all this information and you want to give it a try, but you don't want your students to see what you've done in case you make an error, in which you go to the chevron arrow and delete. You see this right here? This is make a lock. It's unlocked. That means your students can see. So if you click on that, it'll turn to red, and now your students cannot see it. It disappears. So this gives you the opportunity to play around with the course and see if whatever you've submitted is working. And if you click edit mode off, it'll emulate what your students see. So you see that all those tools are gone. That's the easiest way for you to emulate what your students view. So I'm going to click back that on. And now I'm going to show you something that's very important. Back to communication. Let me open this up again. Don't forget to open that up. Your students won't be able to see it. You have to communicate with them again and again. Keep them interacted. Keep them open. Some of you are not even using this. They don't even know that you're using Blackboard. So the first step you would do is what I have just done is post my syllabus, and then you want to tell them that, hey, students, I posted my syllabus, and we will now be using Blackboard as a tool to assist us in this for the rest of the semester. So when you go on, when you log onto any page, this is your home page. You see this My Announcements feature. It's empty because we haven't added an announcement. If you click More Announcements, it gives you this opportunity to create an announcement. Announcements are just little things to say to your students. It's all text. There's nothing attached. It's just like, hey, I just posted my syllabus. Or it could be something as simple as, hey, good morning. How's everyone doing? In a time like this, all this constant communication and reassuring is important. So I'm going to just click create an announcement. I'm going to say, hello, class. And now I'm going to say here, hello, I have uploaded the syllabus, the revised syllabus. It can be accessed via syllabus. See this repetition of information? It's really important now that we just keep people engaged and keep it as simple as possible. Please ignore all these spelling errors. This is just for show. Again, leave all these, like I've said, leave all of the defaults as is, but except for this case. See this email announcement? By default, it's not clicked. I would click that because, again, we want to over communicate. We want them to get an announcement and an email. What's the difference between an announcement and an email? An announcement only appears, I'm going to submit it. An announcement just appears right on this homepage, right when they log on to your course. an email will be sent to their email. So if you were just to unclick that announcement, send to email, they would just see this, which they wouldn't get this notice unless they logged on. But if you click that email, they would get the announcement and the email. So just very quickly, let me just show you what the students would see. Like that, hello class, I've uploaded my syllabus. This is just keeping them informed of your of your course. I'm going to take a drink of tea right now. Give me a second. All right. Continuing with communicating. So we posted the syllabus with an announcement, and we've also clicked that send email just to remind them. But let's say, I don't know how you guys are sending emails to your class currently, but Blackboard has a great feature, their send email feature that enables you to email your class very easily and just with a couple of clicks using the Blackboard application. So, like I said, this is the course tabs that links you to your course stage and content. This right here is your control panel that can get very complicated and gives you a lot of power. This is the basics of Blackboard. We're not going to go into all these advanced features, but I want to show you how to send email. You would click Course Tools, scroll down, and there it is, send email. So if you click on that, it gives you this list. You could email it to all your users. So this would automatically populate your course. In my course, I only have a couple of fake dummy students, but it's the same thing as using any email application. It's hello class, whatever, type your message, blah, blah, blah. You could add an attachment, which is something you can't do in an announcement, but you can attach a file. It's the same thing as any email program. And then click submit. So that's just a quick way to send an email to the entire class via Blackboard. If you wanted to send it to individual students, like you have 20 students and 3 of them are getting behind or something, you just want to zero in on those 3 students, you click single user and then select which users you want to receive this particular email. Keep in mind, this is not personal. This will be to these 2 students. So don't get personal. But if you just want to send to one, just select one and go through the steps. Same thing as sending any other email. All right, now I'm going to open it back up to make sure. These are the 3 most important parts: uploading something, then telling them that you've uploaded it. How is everyone doing?
Okay.
Good. Does anyone have any
I'm
questions?
following you.
Anyone have any questions?
No.
No. I think after you go through the whole process, I might have some questions, but so far it's been clear.
Yeah, let me say this now. This is a lot of information to absorb in 2 hours. A ton of information, especially now. I think we all have a lot on our mind, and it's difficult to process information, especially new information.
Sure.
But it's just like what I said, just like it's practice. The world is changing rather quickly, and we're just trying to adapt. It's not like mandatory. I would say you're foolish on Blackboard, but if you're more comfortable, sending emails through your email client and doing things like that, I can't say that you shouldn't do that. I'm just trying to give you guys all the tools capable to assist your class. All right, so let me go over some more things again with you. Hold on a second. So again, going back to this instructional that I've created. This has step-by-step everything I'm going over. Like I said, it's a lot of information to absorb, and you may forget certain things, and this is just going over how to do that. My advice in any technology is, let's say you get off this call and you're like, oh man, I forgot how to upload a syllabus. And then, you know what you're doing. So you say, hey, you email me. hey, Brian, can you quickly remind me how to upload a syllabus? And I'd be like, go to content area, do upload, and then you wouldn't retain that information. Jump into it. Get your hands dirty. Figure it out. If you yourself would go through the steps on repeating it, you're more likely to retain that information. That's just a quick tip on technology. And now I'm going to go to, where are we? Sending email. We're going to do content. So like I said, we rename that area syllabus. And now right here is content. I would leave that content as is. You could change it with the good old chevron arrow. That is very important that I'm just going to repeat. I'm just going to rename this. I'm going to rename this link just to show it off again. Content. Now I'm going to call it just to show that you could change that and repeat these steps to you. Now I've been doing this course for, it seems like my entire life. So there's a bunch of content on here. Now the main areas of content that we want to upload are, this is all flat files. Let me slow down. This is all flat files, meaning that your students cannot interact with you. They can't like comment on it or anything. That we'll get to with using assignments and discussion boards and even exams. But this is just all content that you want to throw up there and have your students be able to access. This lives there. This is a virtual drive. Anything you put up there, unless you control the features where I showed you with the time restrictions, unless you do that, this information is going to be up there for your students to always refer to. What's great with the syllabus, why I tell everyone to just post your syllabus. I'm sure you've handed out your syllabus in class, and then a week goes by and your student says, hey, professor, I lost my syllabus. Then you got to get it and give it to them again. This is right there. It's always there. They could always refer back to it. Now, building content, we're going to talk about simple documents like PDFs. Then we're going to talk about something simple like an image. Then we're going to talk about something like linking to a YouTube video, which is all very helpful for you in a time like this. So, build content. Like we just uploaded the syllabus. This is going to be repetition, and I hope it's boring some of you because it just repetition is great. And if you're bored, you already know this, and that's making me happier than if you didn't know it. So we want to upload a PDF that we've searched for in the library on our library database. We have a huge collection of resources, over 100,000 ebooks, 100,000 journal titles. If you need help with this, you could set up a meeting with a librarian and they could go over that. But we're not going to cover searching for content. We're discussing Blackboard and posting content. So I've done my research. I found an article that I want them to see. I need to post it for them to access. So this is going to be repetitive. I hope it's the same thing as adding your syllabus. If you wanted to just post a file with just a title, you'd select file, or if you wanted to post a file with some instructions, you'd select item. So I'm going to select item. This comes up, reading on cats. Then I'm going to write something about it. This article was written by a madman. He loved cats, though. This is just something that you can write anything you want. Instructions for the article that I'm going to post. Read it by Monday, whatever. Now you have to attach it. Again, you must have the file saved locally. It must exist on your hard drive. It's something that you're going to pull from your desk and share with people. So you click Browse My Computer. This is the PDF that I've researched and named. Open. And if you, again, leave this all default. If you wanted to do display after and display until, if you only want to give them a week to do it, then you can play around with this. Let's do this for the hell of it. Display after, today's the 18th. I don't want them to see this until the 19th. Display until, I want them to see it for 1 day. So I've controlled select the time restrictions. So click submit. And for you guys, if you're not using it, it would appear right here, but I have a bunch of shit, so it's all the way down here. Reading on cats. I'm just going to show you how to pull it up to the top because we're going to look at this right now. All right, so it's right on the top. And as you see, it's availability. Item is hidden from students because we've restricted the time. And if we click edit mode off, this is going to emulate what the students see, and that is going to magically disappear. It's gone. Click edit mode on, it is back. Again, if you wanted to say, shit, I just want them to see this immediately, you click the old chevron arrow, you would edit it, and you would go down to this, and you would manipulate the time and let them see it. Does that make sense? I'm going to open up the floor real quickly because all this is important. How's that going?
Good.
Good.
Yep.
Good. All right.
Good.
All right, so that's uploading a PDF. It's the same thing for uploading. A image or audio or video. Now let me talk about uploading audio and video. You could do this if you, had files on your locally that you wanted to share with your students. Roy Teets, glad he's here. He has a bunch of audio files on his computer where he uploads directly a slew of jazz recordings. It's basically just clicking on that, name the file, and just upload it. You're restricted to size. I think it's 100 megabytes or something like that. So you can't upload an entire album or a full video. For this case, I always recommend for all audio and video, I always recommend to find it streaming, whether it be on YouTube or something else. But it's the same process. If you had like a small 2-minute video or audio that you wanted to upload, same process. Just uploading the file, and here it just says auto start, yes or no. I would definitely leave everything default. But same for audio, same for video, same for image. It's just name the image and then upload it to your file, and there it appears. I'll have an image down here somewhere. There, it's a picture of took from the library. That's it. It's just very simple. And this is just important in a time like this, just putting as much content to your students as possible. You know, it can't hurt to overload. Now, before I continue with, no, I will continue. I'm sorry. I'm going to, so one more thing is web link. So we've done uploading PDFs, uploading images and files. Web link, this is very important. So let's say you wanted to click to hook your students up with a web link to a YouTube video or just to a website in general. This is how you do it. So click web link, then you name it video on whatever. And very simply, you got to get the URL. Let's go to YouTube. Take any video, Shining. So very simply, I'm gonna take this couple build stupid home.
When we first decided to...
God, I hate those two people for some reason. All right, so copy that, and then you just put it in there. Voice video of 2 people for some reason I don't like. All right, so there's a video, there's the title. You can do description. This is a video of 2 people whom I am displacing all my anxiety on. It helps. Smiley face. You could attach something. You know, I just wrote a 10-page paper on why I hate these people so much, and it's called Our Humanity. and you'd attach it, and they could open it. Your class could see the video, some information about the video, and then even your treatise on the video. Then you click submit, and it goes all the way down here. So they click on that, and it goes right to the YouTube video. All right. How's it going? Good.
Brian?
Yeah.
Steve, it came up this morning in the Zoom video that was, or program that was 2.5 hours. The link from here into Zoom became very important and an important part of that discussion, which you may not be familiar with, but we used it a lot.
Yep. I'm familiar with that. That's going to be covered at the end. Do you have any questions just generally about that right now? So,
No.
Yeah, that's the same technique where, again, it's just that when you create a Zoom video, you get a URL and you just post it in there.
Right.
It's the same technique. It's a web link where you need that URL. That's what makes the web link different from just posting an assignment or any file that you're uploading from your computer. Does that make sense, everyone? I'm going to try to get to Zoom at the end. Just not how to use the application, but how to embed it in your Blackboard, and it's just like that, what we just did. That's a very good question. Any more questions before we continue? All right, I'm gonna move on. Where was I? Oh, all right. Sorry, I know what I want to talk about. So now we have all this stuff here, and you gotta plan ahead. Like there's all this content, and it's gonna go down and down and down and down, and make it unwieldy and out of control. Instead of posting it just file by file, you can post it as folders, and then within that there will be documents, so you can control it better. I think Dr. Brown uses that system like that. I'm going to show you how Mary does. She doesn't mind if she does. I hope she forgives me. Let me just show you. So Mary's course. Everything you need. See, she breaks it up into folders to control her library of data. So if you click on this, it's stated there would be individual items within that. So that's something you should plan out. You'd think that in this day and age that you could just drag this into the folder like you can on most Macs and PCs, but you can't do that. So plan that out well in advance. If you plan to have a whole bunch of content being put up, you should maybe use a course folder and then add the documentation in that. So to create a course folder, same thing, build content folder, week 2, then name it. Add text if you want. This is all the reading to blah, 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 and that would be created. Then you would open up that folder and start adding documentation into that. Same hierarchical system as any computer. I'm going to add, reading in there, here, reading, scroll down, attach. So now you're just controlling it better. It's pretty straightforward, but as you can see in Mary's class, she has a lot of documentation, and if she didn't have these folders, it would just go on and on and on and on. All right, so that is the basics of adding. Mary's course. That's the basics of adding content and syllabus and emailing. Again, if you added something today, you may want to send an announcement to a student and say, "Hey, I just posted up a video. I just posted up a reading." You just got to keep your students engaged and active. This is the basics. These are bare minimums. you must know these techniques. It's just very simple. It's not much different from, think of it as an email client. Just writing something and then attaching it. That's all it is. This is basics. These are flat files. Your students can't say, I hate those cats, this reading on cats. It's just a flat file. There's no interaction. Let me just see if I'm forgetting anything. No. All right. So from here, we are going to get a little more complex. But before we do that, I'm going to, I want to just open it up and talk for maybe a couple. I want people to say, make me feel good that, oh, I understand that. It's pretty good. Oh, hey, Brian, how come you're not showing a video of yourself? Oh, Brian, I hate those two people in that YouTube video as well. So everyone's going to say something. Take your time and go.
Brian, your voice sounds different.
Does it really? I may have the coronavirus and I'm dying.
No.
Hey, Brian, just to confirm on creating the folders in content, we can't drag and drop material that's already in there. We've got to create it originally and put it into the folder. You can't drag and drop or cut and paste out of the.
No, you can't. It's stupid. It's really stupid. Blackboard is just web technology that was built 20
Confirm, yeah.
Yeah, it confirms. Great question. You think they would do it. Blackboard's web technology was built 20 years ago, and they're just adding everything on top, and you can't do that. Good.
Okay.
Hey, Brian.
Yep.
A question I'm sure that will be asked of me is, in terms of students adding and dropping out of a course, their email is automatically defaulted into Blackboard so that when you send an announcement out, as a general announcement, and you go to the content section and then, send out the group email. If someone were like to be a new addition to the course, that would hit them as well, right?
Yes, it's a good question. On the back end, I have that all controlled. It's synced with the colleague system. So
Okay.
Let's say Jane Doe dropped the class today. Every 12 hours, the system talks to Blackboard and updates the. You don't have to do anything about that. That's streamlined. Good question though. So if they drop the class, they will be out of your course show.
Okay. Thanks.
Brian?
Yes, Millie. How are you, Millie?
No, it's Diana.
Oh, Diana. How are you, Diana?
I'm good. Question, can you put a whole film on, can you do that?
No, I wouldn't do that. It's to upload it. We're restricted by size, but
The time?
but it's just size of the file. It just can't handle it all to upload.
It's too much? So what if you divided it up in some kind of way or something? Could you do that?
Yeah, this is more work and it's unpractical. Is there a way you could get access to this film digitally?
Okay.
Is it streaming? Is it on YouTube? Can you get it some other way?
Oh,
Can you give us an example? What are you looking to upload to your course or film?
well, I had a film that I was thinking to show in my class. It's called Truly, Madly, Deeply, but it's it's like 2 hours and 15 or 16 minutes.
Truly, Madly, Deeply, that's a commercial?
I have a double session class. There's time, but I didn't know if it could be accommodated.
That's a commercial film, right?
Yes.
I mean, I'm trying to allocate this, as you know, this is caught us off all guard. And I have some money that we can purchase film, but I have to reevaluate and strategize how to enable professors to watch this. We could possibly get it. If you can, it could even be on YouTube. As for the time being, I try to find videos that are free and currently available, and that you would do that in WebLink as we.
That would be great to find that film. It's a terrific film.
Yeah. Just let me know. I think films are going to be more and more of a necessity for faculty to keep their students engaged at a time like this. But it's very costly. Each film that these companies own streaming rights to cost $200. So if we let every professor gain one film to add to the class, we couldn't handle that. So I think moving forward, there's going to be something like 20 opportunities to stream films in each division. So
Okay.
this is coming up. I'm trying to strategize on moving forward, but that will be something that we're gonna have to discuss with. I'll discuss with the division heads, and we'll figure that out. But if you can, try to start posting free YouTube videos. There's nothing wrong with that.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Anyone else have anything?
On top of Diana's question, this is Roy Keats. If we have a DVD, can we load that on the library's network or something so that then it's available?
No, it's
No.
copyright issues. Can't do that.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, it's we used to have it on a server in a library where you could access it on campus. There was a network where IPTV where we load it all on. So on campus you can do it. That's just like playing a DVD in your classroom. That's fair use. But once you go outside of the institution and you're posting it on the internet, even though it's
All right.
Blackboard, it gets legal complications.
Okay, thanks.
Well, would you be interested in Ken Burns's jazz?
Yeah. I mean, I have the DVDs myself, but I know it's also on the library's network.
Right, but we're off network. So we don't have the DVD. We can't access it. Another professor asked for that collection, and just to put it in perspective, that entire collection, which is lengthy, is $1,200. I don't know. So I'm trying to see what we can do, how we could accommodate videos, and how we could make everyone happy. But
Okay. If something is already on YouTube, that's public access, right?
yeah, you're free to use that.
So we could send the student to the YouTube address and then let them watch it and then come back?
Yeah. All right. So I'm going to go over that one more time.
Okay.
Hold on a second. Check this out. So I wanna search for John Coltrane. This is just Love Supreme. This is the classic album. Screw This Lady. But let me just show it what's going on. So as well, so you just copy this, right?
Yeah.
And build content, web link.
Oh, just put it in there?
Love Supreme. Check this out. Right, the URL. And then I'm gonna write some description here.
Okay,
This
cool.
is greatest album ever recorded. I am correct on this. Great. You listen to this. Blah blah blah. Right. Click guys.
Yeah.
Right. So let me just show it in detail now. Here it is. So we'll click on that, and magically they have after.
Oh wow, that's great.
That's pretty powerful, if you ask me. And
Mm-hmm.
pretty easy to use.
Hey, Brian, if they had like a DVD drive, they could probably show the movie through Zoom.
That's a great point. See, now, someone brought that up. I'm like, wow, that's brilliant. So if you're at home, now hold on, let me delete everyone again. This is important. So this is getting into the Wild West now. I like Michael. There's another professor had that same idea, where if you're going to share a screen in Zoom, if you just shared your video, so right now I'm sharing my screen where it's Blackboard, but if I put in the DVD and that was playing on my computer and I shared the screen, I mean, I think that's, dangling on the edges of copyright issues, but I think it's totally fine because it's fair use. But someone else brought that up, and that is that's a great point. So everyone get that weird pirate version that Michael did. He would like if I had a DVD on here right now, I would load it and then share my screen and the students will be watching the video. It's something to consider.
Different question for you then. I have about 40 students next week. Each of them has been assigned about a 7-page essay. The file size, that's not going to be an issue at all. They're pretty small.
That's going to be no issue at all whatsoever. Yeah, documents is not a problem at all.
Okay.
When they get big with video and audio, but don't even have them write a 100-page paper. No problem at all.
That's their final. Yep.
Yeah, so don't worry about that. That's not a problem at all. Any other basic questions? Because these facts are all important.
All set.
All right, so gonna meet you all, and I think.
Hey, Brian,
Yeah.
in one of the classes, the professor required students to go on to like a streaming service or something and rent the movie for like $3 each.
Yeah.
Just figured I'd throw that out there as another possibility.
Yeah.
I mean, although it's a cost to the student, it does enable them all to see the content. Like, for instance, if it's a certain episode of a certain show, they could go on like Amazon and purchase that one episode for $1.99 or $2.99 or something, and then they're able to have again all see the same content and kind of watch it on their own time. And then the professor in that case would just give the directions of where they would go to find to purchase it.
Yeah, that's a great point. People even before this happened, professors would do it all the time. You got to go on Amazon Prime,
right?
$3, or even this is up to the professors, and I don't know how the equity issues are with this, but people make them buy textbooks, which are far more costly than a simple renting of a video. Yeah, that's up to the professor and their practices and their feelings. Anyone else have any questions? So I'm just going to go over everything we did really quickly. Then we're going to take a 10-minute break, and then we're going to go into the more dynamic, complex features of Blackboard. When we're doing those, I don't really expect you guys to be able to grasp these concepts just by looking at me do it, because they're a little complicated. But like I said, there's step-by-step guide that you can refer back to, and you just need to try. You just need to keep doing it. You could lock your course, it'll prevent your students from seeing it, but you need to practice these next couple of skills. But once you pick up on some of these, they're going to assist you at this time without a doubt, and then just in the future of learning, it'll be a great tool for your students. So I'm just going to go back to what we did really quickly, and then we'll take a break. So I'm going to mute everyone again, and then share screen. All right, so just to go repeat everything, homepage. When you log on, they see this. This is their announcement that we created. They would click on that. Hello, class. Again, click edit mode off to replicate exactly what they see. Put it back on if you wanted to do some editing. I'm going to create another announcement. The weather is delightful, but stay inside, whatever. So that creates another announcement. So again, homepage, here it is. They'll see that. Turn this off just to emulate what the students see. The weather is delightful, but stay inside. So that's announcements. Syllabus. Oh, wait, hold on. Let me just do to send an email. Click on that. Send email. Your options are all users. You don't use groups, so just all users or select single users. Again, pretty straightforward. Oh, real quickly on the email. Let me just clear this up in case it's confusing. So email in Blackboard is just a send only. So when the students reply to it, you cannot receive that email within Blackboard. You'll get that email in your regularly used email client in your Outlook. So you just have to send and receive there. This is just a send tool, and it just populates all your users. It collects all users in one single click. That's the benefit to that. But it's very important. I know it's professors that I show this to, they're like, oh, wow, I used to go into Connect, do that, do this, whatever. I don't even know what they were doing. But this is very helpful. And then content. This is very important. Again, there's no, edit mode is off, so you don't see your tools here. This is replicating what a student sees. Content. Guys, just throw up everything and anything you can to for your students. And I'm going to recommend planning it out and doing folders, because I hope you would take advantage of this and be posting a lot of documentation and videos and links to videos, things like that. You can't not be put up too much. It's a great opportunity to have a virtual library affiliated with your class. Again, we have so much information on these in our library that you can have access to. We have over 100 databases, over 100,000 ebooks, over 100,000 e-journals. This class right now is not set up to tell you how to use this. In the future, now that we're all remotely, I imagine that our reference librarians will be holding similar discussions on using our databases. But again, don't be afraid to post content. It is very, very important now that you keep your students engaged with reading material and videos. So I'm going to click this edit mode on again. Just give us this again. Item and file, the difference between the two. Item gives you the opportunity to write text to the item that you attach. File is just the link to the file. Audio, image, audio and video. I say you know, if you have short clips, you could do that. I got a good point, and I'll do it right now. One professor, I forget what her name was or his name was, because I've helped so many people, did this. This is asynchronous communication with your students. They would create, oh no, you guys see me, I'm so hideous. They would create, not that. They would create, that's a video, they could upload a video, but they would create a video using that. You know, giving like a 2-minute lecture, say, hey class, and then they would upload it doing a video. I think that's a pretty good method. If you have a Mac and you have Photo Booth, where you just want to create little videos saying to your students, you know, how are you doing, things like that. It's not going to be, neither Photo Booth nor this way can capture 2 hours and then upload it. That is something you'd have to use through Zoom, which we'll get to, not how to use Zoom, but how to post links to Zoom later. But that's just an idea that I was impressed that a creative idea that a faculty member came up with. And then again, this is going to be very important, the web link. It's just naming it, you know, video on whatever, and then just go to YouTube, copy that video, that URL, and post it in here. You could type comments. Now let me go over a couple of things right now. Again, this is create, these are folders, but that item file, these are the things you're going to want to use. Ignore everything else. Ignore this. This is basics. These are actually kind of clunky. And most importantly, these mashups have crashed. Mashup to YouTube video, SlideShare, things like that on the system. Blackboard is experiencing problems with this. Do not use that. The difference between a mashup YouTube video is that it creates it, you know, like in line like this, instead of a link. It's the same thing, but in here, the video is embedded within the system. If we're going to get complex, I didn't use that using a mashup. I did it as an item, and I manipulated the HTML. And I'm just giving this, I don't know if you guys know HTML. If you do, it's very easy. If you do not, don't worry about it. You're not expected to learn HTML. You would just create web link and then copy the URL, and it creates a link like that instead of it being embedded. Again, ignore all these mashup stuff. and this is just item files, and this is very important. And if you have small videos and images, do that. All right. I'm gonna open it up for some more talk as I just went over everything. And then we're gonna take a break. Anyone else have any questions? No? No, any questions? All right, we are halfway through our very boring instruction. So let me just tell you what we're going to be going in the next half. It's gonna get, as they say in the business, hairy. We're gonna do, all right, so again, go back to this. This goes over all the steps on what we just did. Next, we're gonna get more dynamic, where we just posting what they call as flat files, which is just documents that they could retrieve, download, and read. Now we're gonna have them interact with us, where we're gonna make them, they're gonna give them assignments, which would tell them to write a paper on whatever, and then they upload the file to you, where you can retrieve in Blackboard and grade. Then we're going to talk about discussions, which is a discussion board where you create topics and people discuss openly. This is the best way that Blackboard can, replicate a classroom discussion. Is it as good as a normal class interaction with a class discussion? No, but it's something to consider. Then we're gonna go into tests and Zoom. All right, I'm gonna give a 10-minute break. I'll be back in 10 minutes and we'll start all that fun stuff. Again, guys, this is a wealth of information. I suggest you refer back to this for recaps. And at the bottom of all these, there is a link to Blackboard's videos and Blackboard's instruction tutorials. There is so much information on Blackboard all over the place, in YouTube, everywhere. There's help everywhere. The internet is pretty large, as you guys know, and there's a lot of documentation out there and videos that can assist you. These are, again, just basic points of creating things that I'm about to go over. Now, before I continue, let me stop this for a second. Is anyone using assignments right now in their course?
Yes.
Mary, tell us about your use with assignments.
Mostly because the students are writing text, I post the directions. I post the little portal that you use to upload them, and the students upload them. We were doing this before the coronavirus hit. I was just doing it before, so it's worked fine.
All right, that's good. Anyone else using assignments? Nobody else using assignments?
I did try a quiz, by the way. It was kind of, it gave the students a chance to practice some vocabulary.
We'll get to that. We're sticking with assignments now. Just uploading assignments. All right, I'm going to mute you all. Again, this assignment gives you an opportunity to have your students literally interact with your site. It gives them a chance to upload documents that you can then view. So let me show you assignments. I'm going to create one, and then, so all this time we've been doing build content. That's content, flat files, putting it up there, but now we're going to go to assessment that has the students interact with the interface. So here under content now, there's a lot of stuff here. Even if I did use the folders, I would suggest you guys create a separate tab, a new tab, and call it assignments. To do so, you click on this X mark, click content area, name it assignments. Click available to users, click submit. And it's right here. I'm going to drag it up a little bit. And that's assignment. So I just created a link to a new area of our Blackboard shell that I'm going to use for strictly for assignments. So click on that, and there's nothing here. That's because we just created it, and there's no content. So instead of building content, which we've been doing, items, files, web links, we're going to start assessing our students. Roll over here, and you give you some options. Right now we're dealing with assignments. So you click on assignment and familiar interface will come up. This is the same thing that we've been using for posting our syllabus, uploading documentation. I'm going to name this assignment paper on jazz. All right, and give you opportunity to, I don't think I've mentioned this. If you ever see this red star, this indicates a required field. You must enter something here. For instructions, you don't have to enter instructions, but I think you should. Please upload your paper on the history of jazz. It must be 10 pages, double spaced. This should be, none of this should be new for you. It's the same kind of formula they've been doing throughout. Now you could attach a file to this assignment, you know, I'm gonna add this in the instructions. Refer to the PDF that I have attached. It is a great article on blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to attach anything. I'm just going to leave it as is. Due dates, you could leave this blank as default, or you could not. Pretty self-explanatory. Hit that, enter a due date. Here we see a red star. You have to add something here. Points possible, because this is an assignment, an assessment. They're being graded. I always say keep everything at 100. Now, here we go. This is very complicated, and I'm going to try to quickly go over it. Like I said, best thing to do until you get comfortable with the software is leave everything as default. So click submission details, leave this all as default, except for if you want to do this right here, check submissions for plagiarism using a safe assign. This will run it up against safe assign, which is Blackboard's version of Turnitin. It is not as powerful and its database is not as big as Turnitin, but it's useful. I would say why not click it? It'll run a report for you. You can say that in your assignments that it's going to be run through plagiarism. Be careful because it will detect plagiarism. But again, I say don't click it because we're not comfortable with the system and we're leaving everything as default. Again, I'll go over these really quickly. Grading options, you wouldn't ever pick enable anonymous grading. Skip that completely. Display of grades, once you get familiar with the software, feel free to change it to letters, percentages, incompletes. Again, we're not familiar with the software. We are taking it, leaving everything as default. Make assignment available, that is on default. You're gonna want to do that. Or you can limit its availability. Then you click submit. So now we have created an assignment on in this particular a paper on jazz. This is where the students are going to interact. They must now complete this assignment and upload this assignment. So I'm going to open up a different browser and show you the student's perspective and have them, I'm going to upload a paper. Here it is. The content now assignment. All right, let me slow down. So now I've opened up a different browser, and this is CircDesk, which is an imaginary student that I have enrolled in my class. So imaginary student enrolls in his class. You see, you don't have any editor mode. You can't do anything here. This is exactly what my student is going to see. The weather is delightful. Those are the announcements. He's can access all this, but he's going to have to access this through assignments. So go on here, click on this, and here's the instructions that I provided. He could write the submission in the interface. I would never tell him to do that. I would probably say that don't do that. I want you to as I commented, I said upload your assignment. So they would click browse my computer, and they would complete. I'm going to just take Mary's syllabus as an example of his assignment. Pretend this is a document on jazz. They could comment if they wanted to. I like this assignment. They're probably not going to do it. They're just going to upload it because they're sick and tired of writing because they wrote a 10-page paper on jazz, and then they're going to submit. And this is their receipt for their assignment. It falls right here, and they're done. Success, your submission on this paper is confirmed. They will also get an email saying that they have submitted the assignment. All right, I'm going to slow it down right now. Does everyone get the premise? I'm going to go back to it, but that's it. You create an assignment, and then they upload an assignment. I haven't gotten to how you access it, but is this pretty straightforward?
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. There's only one problem I see, Brian. In order to expect the students to do a good job on the history of jazz, I think we have to send all the faculty, including the Blackboard supervisor, down to New Orleans to get an experiential kind of view of it.
And because we can't travel these days, I say you pick up Roy Tietz's new book. What is it titled?
Hmm?
We can't
I'll give it 4, all right?
Yeah.
All right, so that, no chit chat. That was nice, but we're on to serious business. Tammy, I haven't heard from you. Did you understand the concept of creating an assignment?
Yeah, I did.
I think I do.
Right? You did?
And if I have questions, I can always go back. You're going to include a recording of this later on, right? Like
Yeah.
I can go back and review.
Yeah, sure. I'd say that after this is over with, you actually play with the software and do it yourself.
Okay.
You know, and refer back to the LibGuide. The recording, I'm gonna record it, and it's going to take a while to process, but you're gonna want
Oh, it is. Okay, so it'll be a couple days before we can like watch the recording.
Yeah, are you gonna want to sit through this again? I mean, this is gonna be 2 hours.
Maybe not. Oh, you can't like fast forward it.
You know, yeah, I'm gonna have it posted or something like that. But I'm just saying that
Well, it'd just be nice, like if you're like, oh, I can't remember that. If you have the recording, then I could go back and just.
true. It's important. I agree. Yeah, it'll be up. It'll take a while to process, and I'm gonna.
Okay.
Jason, remind me. We're gonna create a Gmail, YouTube video link. We're gonna send it in. All right, that'll be there. All this will be there.
Hey, Brian, more of a comment than a question. Just in terms of the attempts, I tend to think that having, if there's a due time, having multiple attempts is helpful in case like a student submits something that they didn't necessarily proofread all the way through, or they by accident the wrong content. If you do one attempt, then there's no recourse. Once they submit, that's it. There's no fixing it. Let's say the assignment was due by midnight, but they uploaded an older version by accident or something. I don't know.
That's an excellent point. And in this scenario, I normally say give them one attempt. Do or die. You got to. I give you this amount of time to submit it. But let's say for some reason the internet is very busy and they try to upload it and it crashes or something.
Yeah.
Upload it. Again, in this time, I'd be more lenient than I would be normally with assignments and rules. I would make it longer for them to submit. But again, that is up to you guys. And let's go what Michael's talking about, and this will give us an opportunity. Before we go about analyzing the paper, let's just go back to our friend, the chevron arrow, right? And I'll click that. And I'm gonna, click our friend, the chevron arrow, and we're gonna edit this. And we've decided that we want to give it multiple attempts because we're nice. We go here, select single attempts, multiple attempts. So they can add it. I'm going to let them upload it 3 times because life is complicated and so is writing papers on jazz. So does that make sense, everyone?
Yeah.
I got a question for you, Brian. This is Steve.
Yep.
With the 40 students submitting 5 to 7 page essays next week, that's going to come in right here, and I'm going to have all 40 to print out or look at or whatever.
Yeah, this is the advantage that I say of creating an assignment instead of having them email it to you in your email, because you're gonna have to like sort through your email and download it all. This centralizes it all.
Okay.
I'm going to leave mute off. I mean, mute. You guys can talk now because it's gonna get complicated. So I'll give you the opportunity to stop me and from continuing. So if you're a heavy breather, just be confident. Just be cognizant of that. Your mics are all on right now. If you want to mute your mic yourself, feel free. So I'm going to continue. As Steve said, he wants to know the next part of an assignment is retrieving it and grading it. This all takes place in, does anyone have any guess where this would take place? No ideas? Would it be Grade Center? Yeah, good guess. So click on Grade Center, and there's a lot of options here. Just do needs grading, and it'll just have the ones that submit that need grading right there. It'll be right here. But I'm for this sake of this tutorial, I'm saying just go to full Grade Center so you see everything. So I'm going to backtrack. Assignments. I submitted the assignment, paper on Jazz, and now I want to see and grade the paper. Go to under Control Panel, go to Grade Center, and then Full Grade Center. And this pops up. Is everyone comfortable with that?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
All right, I have a ton of assignments here because I've been doing this with multiple groups. So there's going to be a bunch of things here. You guys would have nothing because you haven't created any assignments. So here is the key to seeing that, like this person has done this all. This is going to be at the end. And you see paper on Jazz. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me backtrack. Once you create an assignment, it automatically creates a grade column in this here Grade Center. So let's go back. We created this assignment, and then magically a column in the Grade Center is created. And in this column, it has the access to the document. And then you're going to retrieve that document, and then you're going to enter the grade in that same column. So you go here, and there it is. This yellow exclamation point means that the student has submitted something there, and it's waiting for you to analyze. Does this make sense? Is everyone following?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep, continue.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, so we've created the assignment, and now the student has submitted it. Captain John has not submitted it because there's nothing there. CircDesk has submitted it. So to access this document, we go to our good old buddy, the chevron arrow, click on that, and then see this attempt 318, we click on that, and it'll come up. And here it is, the assignment submitted. Now, if you could read it online, this is called inline grading, and I'll get to that in a second, but if you want to download it and print it out because you like to hold things and more comfortable reading it that way, you'd click this. This is the download icon. Click that, and it'll download it to Word, and you could print it, then print it out. But I'm not going to do that because I don't have a printer and I don't want to showcase. This is pretty obvious. It's pretty obvious. Makes sense how to download the document, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everyone got that?
Yep.
Yeah.
Good, because I'm going to go over it again to beat it into you. Grade Center, go here at the chevron arrow, and you click Attempt. Loads, and then that is the download. Okay, I downloaded it, and I'm old school. I don't want to do this inline grading. We'll get to that in a second. I downloaded it, and I just want to give them a grade. And you know at the end of the paper where there's that big white spot where you would write all your full summary of what you think of their paper? You could do that. So you read this. This is great. You get giving them a 99. This is where you enter the grade, 99. And right here, feedback to listener. This is like at the end of a paper, your teacher would write you that, summary of what you've done. Does that make sense? So you'd be like, hey, Bob, great job on covering the history of jazz, blah, blah, blah. Then you would post it And voila, he's got a 99 there. It's no longer a exclamation point. The score is there, and your student will, let me go to the student's view. The student would go to their grade center. This is different because this is the student's view. Go to my grades. Here's a paper on jazz. Here's the score. Here's the comment. Hey, Bob, blah, blah, blah.
Cool.
How does that sound? Is that pretty straightforward?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Anyone have any problems with that?
Nope.
Okay, I'm gonna be honest with you. After this, we're on an hour and a half. We have a lot on our minds, other things outside of Blackboard in our profession. You're going to be exhausted after this. You're gonna close this computer, then you're gonna wake up tomorrow, and the odds of you retaining all this information are not that great. Maybe some of you have great memories. I wouldn't be able to do this. I would probably need to refer back to this and read this, just to familiarize myself with it again. Again, like Tammy, she wants a video that will be available for you within 48 hours as well. But don't be discouraged. This is a ton of information, and it's getting kind of complex now. But that is the basics of creating an assignment and then retrieving that assignment and then grading that assignment. I'm going to go over it again. Assignment. We created this pretty straightforward, just like creating anything else. Create that. And then we would go to Full Grade Center, try to find those, we graded that, so that will be, look for that good old exclamation mark, and then we would go into here and retrieve the file would be uploaded, and then we're old school, so we're downloading, we're gonna download it, read it in our hands with our cup of coffee at our kitchen table, disassociated from the internet, and then we're going to go back into then we're going to enter the grade here, 55, and write the feedback. Bob, you are an idiot. You fail. Of course, you wouldn't be this cruel, being colorful, because I'm going insane. Don't tell anyone, though, because I still want to get paid. All right, does that make sense?
Yes.
Question for you, Brian. If we don't put a grade into the grade center,
Yep.
for example, I've got an Excel spreadsheet for the semester so far. If I put one grade in, then I got to put them all in, or just can I communicate outward?
Yeah.
Emails.
Yeah, you don't have to. This is a good question. This is super complicated in that this is just for like right now to be able to upload to re-enter all these grades. I would say don't use the grade center for actually keeping score, so to speak, the grade.
Okay.
You could just use that and communicate with your students that way. I'm not using the grade center for grades, so they won't be posting to it. But if you wanted to do this, you would these assignments have been created, they've been already graded. You would create a column, right, and say, paper
Points to date or something, yeah.
Yeah, from whatever, and then it would just appear like here, and then you wouldn't have to download anything because it's already been submitted. You'd click this and just enter a grade manually. Does that make sense?
Yeah, can we add a column that said possible points to date, and here's what you've got?
This again, I want to talk about, I'm trying to cover everything, but there's a column called weighted totals, where once you're comfortable with the software, you'd want to jump all over this because this is awesome. But I can't really go into this, but I'll go over it really quickly. Edit column information. And then this would create a weighted total. So you would, you would like say, one grade, edit column information, come on, work. That's not working. I'll show that into another, this is gone haywire because of many comments, but I'll show you in a different course section, show it to Mary's. Grade center. So the weighted total here, Mary doesn't have any assignments. Oh, yes, she does, sorry. So here's Mary's assignments. Oh, there.
Mm-hmm.
She would do weighted total, edit column information. And then if she wanted to, you could weight the totals. So she would say, period is, Mary, don't worry, I'm not going to do anything here. Period of immunization is worth 20% of the grade, you know? And then this assignment, New York article, is worth 10% of the grade until you get a total of 100. And then that would weight the total and show the students where they are in relation to their scoring. Am I clear about that?
Yeah, I get a little complicated.
That's complicated. We're trying to, you know, we're trying to learn to walk, and we're crawling right now. And this is like you know, pole vaulting. Pole vaulting. We got to be comfortable with the software before we go take it to great lengths. This, I would say, we can't even talk about this right now.
Okay.
We want to keep it simple, where we create an assignment, and then we have. Does that make? We'll go.
I'm sorry. I was gonna say if they just give something less than 100 score value, like I'm sorry, it's point value. If it's points are all only out of 50, that's like weighting it without having to go into the weighted column. Like let's say homework is only worth 25 points out of the total points of the course, which is like 500. Then it's weighted automatically because it's only worth 25 points.
Yes, that's a valid point. But now we're talking about like mathematical calculations, and we're going to confuse people. Let's not go there right now. This is again, once you get comfortable with the software, you can do that. But you're right, Michael. But I don't want to start saying you could weigh this total of a score that it's not worth 100 points. It'll be worth 40% of your grade. That people will be like, what the fuck is he talking about? We're trying to stay away from that. We're trying to do simple calculations. Again, if you guys once you get comfortable with it, weighted totals is awesome because your students go to their grade center and they see, shit, if the semester ended right now, I'm on pace for a 75. But you know, so they could then maybe upkeep be inspired to improve their performance. So that's assignments. Now I got to hear some feedback because I got to stop talking for 5 minutes. Feedback. No feedback? Nothing? No?
I think it's great in terms of the whole grading center in general because it allows the students to see their grade right away instead of like wondering when the professor is going to get to their individual paper or whatever it may be.
Yeah, it's great for that. Again, we're trying to interact with the students and connect with them. And you can't interact and connect with them more than grades. And you know, they could be more connected with their performance directly. I think it's very important that, you know, again, if you're not comfortable using this, you gotta crawl before you can do that pole vault. So you're gonna crawl if you're comfortable with saying, "Hey, students, could you submit your paper to me via email?" You know, continue doing that. You don't want to start creating these pitfalls with technology that you're not prepared for. That being said, I don't think this is that complicated when it comes down to it. And I don't mean to contradict myself, but this is a lot of information to absorb at once. But it's time to, you know, do some work. It's time to stretch your capabilities and take on these challenges and learn new things, because online learning they would say online learning is the future. Online learning is the present. It's here right now in a big way. And to keep up with the pace of reality, we're going to have to learn new skills. And this is one of them. Working with the learning management system and trying to interact with our students on a virtual level. Does that mean I'm going to create another assignment, just repetition. And I would say repetition is the greatest tool of all, whatever that thing is, the mother of skill. So assignments. Build assessment. Again, that's the old thing. Now we're doing assessments. We're going to create an assignment. We're going to call it a paper on food. We're going to say this is a paper on food. On food, blah, blah, blah. It's due 10 pages. Pretty straightforward. I don't have to type that. Browse your computer if you want to attach something to it. If you want a due date, points possible, you must add. I say keep it at 100. Again, if you want to do multiple attempts, submit it to plagiarism. I'm saying, again, we just want to leave everything at default because we're trying to get comfortable with the software, so I'd leave everything at default. If you want to display after and until, it's pretty straightforward. Submit that. There it is, paper on food. Now I'm going to jump back to the students view. Assignments. He says, oh, I got another assignment, paper on food. He's going to browse, he or she is going to browse, or they is going to browse their computer. Click on syllabus, click on choose. They comment if they feel. Submit. So now we created a second assignment. The student has completed a second assignment. And now we're going to grade a second assignment. Here we go. Again, go to Grade Center, Full Grade Center. Scroll all the way to the end. There it is, the bloody exclamation point, making us do more work. We click on the good old chevron arrow. We click on the temp. And we see it here. But this time, we don't have a printer. We don't want to print it out. We want to read it up, and we want to virtually consult their intelligence or applaud their hard work. So I'm going to show how to do inline grading. Here we go. This is the paper. These are your tools. Pop-up box at point annotation mode, as they say, or a drawing annotation mode. I'm going to click on point annotation mode. And then I'm going to highlight this, and then a box is going to come up. A box is going to come up. And I'm going to write a comment. This is great. Post. That's done. I want to do another. You can interact with your students. They could reply to that, and I'll show you that. Hold on. So there it is. I'm going to do another one. This is even better. Again, guys, this is more advanced features. Play around with it. You don't have to do this. And then I'm going to close. So these are the two pop-ups there. Great. And this is even better. Now I want to use this. It's what it is, a pencil. I want to draw their attention to that. You know, or just cross something out. Save. Done. And you do that throughout your paper. Or now you can highlight a given text and then create a pop-up. So that's all highlighted. This sentence is fantastic. Spelled fantastic incorrectly because I'm exhausted. Post that, and that'll appear there. And now I'm going to grade it. I was wise comments. This is great. I've commented on several points, etc., and submit. And there it is. So that was inline grading. How does everyone feel about that? You don't have to use any of that. It's there for you if you are, once you get comfortable with the software and you're courageous. Any questions? No. All right, thank God we're running out of time, but we still have several things to cover. And the next is discussion boards. Does anyone use discussion boards currently?
No.
No, but I will.
All right, this is cool. Discussion board is that. It's just a board for students to interact. One thing, this is definitely the most organic piece of application of Blackboard, in that your students could be, like very interactive with it a lot, or they could not. It depends. Discussions could get so out of hand that it's overwhelming. My advice on using discussion boards, especially for new people, is just create them and see how they go. You just want students to interact and discuss and try to open up dialogue. So here we go. Discussions. We click on this. You'll see I've created a bunch of forums. I'm going to show you guys the first one, which is a meta discussion board, because it's a discussion forum on discussion forums. And I'm not creating it now, I'm just showing you it. This is a discussion forum about discussion forums. Does that make sense, everyone? This is just a forum that I've created, and now I'm going to access it. When you click on the discussion forum, up pops the initial thread, which is the topic of conversation. This is kind of repetitive. At first, I'll show you step by step when we create one. I'm just doing this to show you what one looks like when they're created. You first must start a forum, which just opens up the stage, so to speak, and then you must start the conversation with a thread. See, enter a subject here for discussion. This is bracketed, that wouldn't be there. The example given, the discussion that I'm talking about is let's talk about existentialism. So for our sake, this would not be here. Obviously, I'm just trying to point out that you need to start to create a topic. And here is let's talk about existentialism. So they would click on that. And up creates the forum, the discussion. You start the discussion. And I'll show you, again, it's kind of repetitive. Enter a subject here to discuss, again. This is my information. This wouldn't appear here. This is just an example. A good way for you to start a discussion forum is to start the conversation and then give your students some direction, like so. We're talking about existentialism here, so here it is. Existentialism can be tersely summed up as blah, blah, blah. Then there's discussion. Then my instructions here are to reply to this thread with your explanation, and you must eventually reply to your classmates' reply. You could come up with any instructions you want. You could just start the conversation, have them go wild, and you could reply, or you could not. You just have them talk. So in this instance, I made them start, explain existentialism, and then reply to a user's definition. So CircDesk, a student, says existence precedes essence means a man creates subjective truths. Captain John then replied to that, do you think this has been true only since whatever? And here's Captain John's definition of existence precedes essence, and CircDesk respond to him. So they're both have done their work, and now it could keep going on. They can interact with each other. Me as the moderator, as an instructor, I am now interacting with their comments, and I am even creating, you could even create a links within it. It's the same thing as any interaction. Let's just edit this. You're going to see the same field that we've been seeing again and again, but this now it's embedded within discussion, where it gives you a text thing, give you toolbars, and so forth. What do you guys think about that?
Good.
All right, so let's create one. Go to discussions. Now these are created and completed. We're gonna hit create forum. And this is kind of repetitive. You gotta just say, this is where we will be discussing, I don't know, cats. Right? Description, I'm just gonna leave this blank for the sake of I'm exhausted. Availability, yes, yes. And leave everything by default until you get to comfortable with it. You're more than welcome to make it adapt to your thing. You could grade discussion forum, where they'll create an automatic column in the grade center where you'll have to go and enter grades. Again, we're starting slowly. We're just gonna leave it all as default. Then you click submit. I have a bunch of them, so it's down here. So then you click, this is where we're going to be discussing cats. And like I said, I'm just going to jump back to this. Like I said in this discussion forum on discussion forums, enter a subject. You need to enter a subject here. So like on this, to start the conversation, click here. Nothing's going to come up. You need to start the discussion, create thread. So this thread, and this is still the professor, the main forum was about cats, but now I want to break it up into something specific. This is about black cats. And the message, and like I said, start the conversation and give instruction. Do you folks think black cats are bad luck, represent bad luck? Bad luck. Give an example of why, and then reply to your fellow classmates' response. You could submit, a picture of black cat if you want, whatever. You have all those powerful options, and then there's that. So let's go back here again. Here's the discussion board. Here's this one. This is where we'll be discussing cats. They click on this. This is about black cats. And this is where I've started the discussion. Do you folks think black cats represent bad luck? Blah, blah, blah. Let's see what the student would see now, just for repetition purpose and to show it in full effect. So in here, this is where we'll be discussing cats. They click on that. This is about black cats. So this opens up the discussion. And this is the instructor saying, do you folks think that bad cats are blah, blah, blah? Because your instructions, they are going to reply. And they're going to say, I think it's malarkey. Black cats are not evil or bad luck, whatever. Then click submit. And they have done that. They have created their thread. Now I don't have another student's account. They would create their own. I could, as a professor, will reply to this. I agree, good point, and so forth. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it takes work. It takes a lot of work. Once you get the hang of it, it's straightforward. Now I want to show you something Professor's Black discussion board fully developed and used. This is Richard Sheldon's discussion board. He teaches a course completely online. Before, he was prepared for this. He spent months, I'm sure, creating this online course. Before the situation that we're occurring here now, you'll see his fully developed online course looks like so. I just want to show you discussions that he has. General discussion forum. It's not that. I guess not. I'm trying to find. It's probably what day is it? Discussion forum week 7. Discussion forum questions. This is not a good example because it's just started. Let me try to find one that's fully developed. Chaotic. So he has discussion forum questions. He's going to have some questions. Here are his questions. Do you think blah, blah, blah? I don't know, he's teaching business. And then these are the students. Look how, as I say, organic and lengthy you could get. These are students interacting with each other and creating discussions. See how lively this gets? This is Richard. He's clicking in on, and this is just a week's. This is just a week's interactions. This is Richard. Anything with a red will be there. Going forward, Richard's commenting on what they said, giving more appointments. So this is replicating a class discussion. Right. See, look how this could be Richard uses it for, he's prepared to use it. He's had a lot of, he's grading this too. With you guys, I would say until you get a full hand of it, start the discussion, try to let the students do what they want and see how it goes. This is 1 week. This is still going. Still going. Richard's comfortable with this. He's used this for years. This is his online course. He's prepared for this. I'm not so sure you guys are gonna he's like I said, he's grading it on that. You guys would probably just use this to inspire students and keep them active in your course.
Brian, a question for you. I mean, aside from this being amazingly impressive, if we were to, this is kind of like encouraging students to speak out in class. If we were to somehow say, if they respond twice in whatever, they get 10 points for their response, can this be done automatically, or do we have to go through and grade each one?
Yeah, you have to manually grade it. It's not that,
Okay.
yeah, it's not that powerful where it'll, because when you grade, and we're going to get that to test, because this talk on Blackboard is, guys, I didn't tell you, this talk on Blackboard is not 2 to 4, it's 2 to eternity. It's never going to end. You guys are stuck with me forever. Anyway, we're at 4 o'clock now, and I want to continue with tests. And Steve's point is that Blackboard can't, grade text. They have to, something like that, you have to go in and manually grade. But Blackboard can grade multiple choice and true and false questions with ease. So if you create a test that is just multiple choice and true and false, all you have to do is create the test, launch the test, the students take the test, and magically in that grade center, Blackboard will calculate the score. I'm jumping immediately to tests now. Is everyone ready to go?
Yeah.
Yeah. Our discussion boards is kind of, it's clunky in that you have to create the forum where you just say, this is a forum, and then you start the conversation. Guys, practice it. Just keep going. And if you want, you guys, it's complicated, but just try. Once you get the students interacted, they're very savvy and they'll get the conversation started. I say, what do you have to lose if you create a discussion board and you can't and it evolves? Again, refer back to this on discussion boards. Help it out. There's videos. I can't field everyone's questions on, Brian, how do I create a discussion board? There's 2 hours that we're having right now. I'm going to go to my email box and there'll be 700 questions on this and that. So we're going to create a test. This is an assignments. These are the assignments. Let's create for repetition purpose. I want to create a tab that is tests. TEST, available for users. Submit. So now there's a tab here where there'll be test. Actually, that sounds awkward. So I wanted to change it to multiple to test. So just to prove the chevron arrow again and beat this into everyone, rename link. I want to pluralize that, bang, tests. So we're now ready to create a test. All right, this is very important. Blackboard is being exposed. The software is very vulnerable right now, and it's realizing things that are not working because everyone's using it, and some things are crashing. You may have got an email from me earlier that mobile compatible tests it's not working. Do not use that. What the difference between mobile compatible tests and a test is that if a student were to take your test on a phone, they wouldn't be able to view it if you created a test. How would they be able to, and now that mobile compatible test is broken, how would they be able to use it? Which I imagine a bunch of students are going to be doing this all on their phone. How would they be able to take this test? They have to download the Blackboard app onto their phone. If you guys should download the Blackboard app, there's a student and instructor one. It's just everything on your phone. Am I making myself clear on that? Stay away from this. Just use this test. Did you guys have any questions about that before we continue? Oh. No? I'm going to continue. We're going to create a test. So click test. I have some tests here, but you're not going to see that in your course because you haven't done anything. You're just going to click on create a new test. And this is, you guys should be very familiar with this interface by now. You're going to call this final exam. This is your final exam. Good luck. Instructions, take this course. And I'm very glad that Michael is on the horn and Diana, because I'm going to briefly talk about something for people that need additional time for a test. That will be covered in 1 second. So we're creating a test. I named the test. I gave a description. I gave some instruction. Take this course. Take this test. Good luck. Whatever. Click submit. So now we go to the test canvas. This is your final exam. This is what you see. Now we're going to create questions. For the sake of brevity and we're running out of time, like I said, if you create either multiple choice or true and false, the Blackboard is intelligent enough where it could know immediately if the score test is correct or not, and it'll grade it immediately. So I really say that this could be very helpful just to keep your students interacted. I'm creating a final exam. You guys create, quizzes just to get them, just to interact with them. So over here, you're going to create a question. It's a bunch of options. Calculated formula is for math. I couldn't even begin to show you guys this. I don't understand those. If you want to do that, we could meet separately. Either or. It's all pretty straightforward. Hotspot is an image. You would highlight something a lot if it was like a body, a full body, and the question is, what is a femur? You would highlight the femur area, but we're just going to do multiple choice right now. Pretty straightforward. Everyone knows what a multiple choice is. Again, question title, there's no red here, so I would just leave that blank. Question text, red, you must do this. Someone give me a test question, anything.
What's the capital of New York?
Great. What's the capital of New York? All right. So, sorry. Again, these options, I say leave them blank until you get comfortable with the software. Number of answers, we're just going to do 3. It's multiple choice. The limit is 4. I did not know that. And then you enter the answers. So San Fran is obviously not going to be the right one. Answer 2, Albany, that's the right one. So you click that. So answer 3, Queens. Answer 4, Mars.
Nice. I like answer 4.
All right. Feedback. You could respond to feedback. How could you not know this? Whatever. Incorrect feedback. Say things like that. Again, leave everything default. Keep it simple. Submit and create another test. Another question. So this is going to be question 2, multiple choice. What is the capital of New Jersey? What is the capital of New Jersey? Trenton?
Yeah.
Yes.
Trenton. Pluto. Brooklyn. Boston. All right, so the correct answer is obviously 1. We select that, and we want to submit that, and we want to switch up the questions. We don't want to do multiple choice. It's a 3-question exam. We want to do true and false. So if you hit submit, you go back to your test canvas. So here we are. 1 question is there, and these are the 2 points. These are the values of the points. But we're going to add this all up to 100. So in 1 more question, it's going to be the big question, and it's going to be worth 80 points, and it's going to be true and false. Now, if you want to do you know, essay, which is, I wouldn't know why you wouldn't want to do that for a lot of disciplines, but for this sake of this course and just to show the simple true and false multiple choice, it's not going to add, it can't obviously grade the essay. You have to go into the grade center. You'll see that magic yellow exclamation mark is, you have to click on that. Then you have to grade the individual essay and then click a point, and then it'll calculate all your scores. Does that make sense? I'm not doing an essay just for sake of brevity. So I'm going to just do true, false. And question is, it is cold outside.
Okay.
That, bang. And I want to do, this is going to be worth 80 points because I want this to all add up to 100. So we are done with our test. And now I'm going to click OK. And then you go back to this. Now we want to launch this test. Again, this is all really kind of not really that intuitive. In here in tests, it goes over all these steps that I'm doing from memory because I'm been doing this for a long time and I'm comfortable with it. So now you want to add an existing test, final exam. That's the one. We click on that, and it gives us all this information. Make available to students. Are you gonna have to hit yes? I don't know what is no by default. Set timer. You want, again, we're in difficult times right now. I would not, but if for this you want to set it for hour, 120 minutes or whatever, you're able to control this. Display after, display that. I would not do password. Why would make it more complicated? Test availability exceptions. Just leave this alone. This is for leave everything by default. This is going to where Michael's office and myself are going to come into play. We want to make an exception for a student. They need longer than 139 minutes. We would click here and add a user to a group and make them give that test for longer than that. Let's just do that for the sake. We are going to make captain. Guys, don't worry about this. I'm just showing Michael and Diana this. This is how it's going to be done. Instead of 139 minutes, they were 199 minutes. You got it, Michael? It's kind of, I'll go over this again with you.
Yeah, and I've created tests before.
Oh, you have? All right, excellent.
Oh yeah, pretty much everything, because in having to show other people. So
right. Awesome. So guys, don't worry. Leave everything as default. Don't worry about test availability exceptions. This is making individual exceptions for students that may need more time for whatever reason. That the professor will know that. You guys would know that. Due date, put that in or whatever. I'm leaving everything as default. Default. After submission, I would definitely click some of these though. Show all answers correct, submitted. And then you click test presentation, get up to you all at once, one at a time. Randomize questions, that's all up to you, and click submit. And there it is. Let's take the test as the example, as the student. I'll show you its power if there is no essays that you have to go in. This is awesome because you're done. You did the test. Now the student has to take it, and you don't have to grade shit. That you won't see that yellow exclamation mark beckoning you to do work. You'll just see a score. So who is this? CircDesk is going to take the test now. Bang! It says CircDesk, good luck, time, this and that. He begins. They begin. So question 1: what is the capital of New York? Obviously Mars. Shit. So close. Question 2: what is the capital of New Jersey? Trenton. It is cold outside. False, true, whatever. Save and submit. And they're telling you this is it. Good luck. Ba-boom. Bang. Click OK to review results. Student clicks that. He got a 90 out of 100. And now I could go over it all. Oh, Mars is in the capital. Blah, blah, blah. That's it for him. You would go back. You don't have to do anything. So you're chilling. Full grade center. there'll be a grade center automatically created here somewhere. Final exam, and there's the 90, correlates to the submission that they did. And that's tests. How was that? Main thing to remember, no mobile tests. It's busted. All right, now it's time to go over everything again in full detail. I'm going to start with submitting No, it's over. The session's over. Now it's time for questions. Go.
What about if it's an essay? How would it test?
I mentioned that if it can't grade it can't interpret thought patterns. It can't grade words. You have to go in and grade that yourself.
Okay.
So in this instance, we're going to edit the test, and we would create another test that we put this to 70. Submit and regrade. That's cool. All right, so he has to do it. And then we're going to create another test. We only have 90 points. We're going to create a 10-point question. You're creating a 10-point question, and now you have to go into that directly. I can't write an essay for this. I'm burnt out. It would have calculated that student has now entered 3 grades, but you'd see that yellow question mark, and you have to go into the essay itself and grade it and enter a score.
Okay.
All right. Any other questions about anything? Now it's question time. No, I like your lack of questioning. Gotta be honest. Nothing. No. Guys, this is a shitload of information. We have a lot on our mind, but just think of it this way. This is helpful. I would start with the basics. I would definitely post my syllabus if you haven't already. I would use announcements to communicate with your students regularly. I would use the email tool here. I would post readings that apply to my course. I would definitely use YouTube and just have them interact with videos. I would use discussion board, let them go crazy. And once I get a little more confident, I would start creating, quizzes and have them interact with that. How's it going? Any other questions?
No questions.
Brian, this will drive everybody nuts, but linking Zoom to Blackboard, which I think.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my gosh, that.
I forgot about that. All right.
Don't forget that. That's critical.
Yeah, I got that. All right. So you guys got to know Zoom. We're not going over the application itself. Sorry.
Just linking.
Yeah, we're going to do that. So I'm going to schedule a new meeting in Zoom, right, for this date or whatever. I can't go over this. You have to download the application, and I was scheduled. So I'm going to my meetings, right? And this is the one that I just created that I want to link into Blackboard. It's this one. You click on this and show meeting invitation. Here it is.
Brian, I'm not seeing your screen, by the way.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, sorry. Back up. Hold on. I forgot. I stopped it. Sorry. All right, so back to this. So let me start over. You got to go to the Zoom application. This is not, there's a Zoom meetings all next week. I highly suggest everyone attend one of those. I have created a meeting for tomorrow, right? Here it is. I've done that, created the meeting. And then I'm going to go to my meetings. Again, they'll go over this in Zoom. And you click copy invitation. Click copy invitation. Now the invitation is copied. Now you want to post this information in Blackboard. And I can't stress this enough. It'll be on the web thing, and we just learned this. You want to use Firefox when linking with Zoom and Blackboard. It works best. I'll show you why. So here is the test. I've scheduled it. I just want to present the link for my students to see. There's a couple of ways to do it. This is one way. I'm going to build content and it's a web link, because that's all it is. It's a web link. Click that. Hold on, let me just get here. Zoom meeting for Zoom meeting coming up. And you want to now copy this invitation in the body. This gets all the information there. If they don't have the computer, they're gonna call the meeting ID, and this is the most important part. Zoom meeting URL, because remember, we're posting a web link, so we need a URL. There's a red mark there. Here's a Zoom meeting URL. We're gonna copy that to enable this web link. So close to. All right, copy that. Click on this URL. Click on that. Open up my Zoom. Open up my bloody Outlook, so it's gonna go crazy because I got a million emails. Shit. Sorry. All right. So open. So I've copied that. I've copied the invitation. I paste into the body of a web link. We've done this a lot with posting URL, and then you insert the URL into the web link to enable it, and then click submit. So now, when your class sees that, all they have to do is click on that, and it will launch the Zoom application.
Right.
Mine's already set up, so it's not going to do it. But let me go over that again. Here's Zoom. I'm at home. I have some meetings scheduled. I want to include this one, the one tomorrow for my class. So I'm going to click on this. I'm going to show meeting invitation. I'm going to click copy invitation. And then I'm going to build web content, web link. And I want to get as much information as possible, because what if the student just wants to call in, so they need all that intel? I'm going to click on here. I'm going to click that. I'm going to name it Zoom meeting. I'm going to go here. I need this URL. I'm going to paste that. Attach anything if you want. Again, you may want to use these date restrictions, because that meeting is for, tomorrow at 8 or whatever. You want to just leave that blank. Otherwise, you're going to click it and it'll be in the waiting room. That's up to you. Click submit. And there it is. Once they click on that, it'll launch into the application. Now, like I said, this is scheduled for tomorrow. An easy way to do that is, after you create that, click on this, the good old chevron arrow, and make unavailable. So now they won't see that. They won't see that link. It's for tomorrow. You get up tomorrow morning, and then you want to make it live a couple hours before. It's now tomorrow at 9 o'clock. You would click on make available, and then they'd see it. Is that clear?
Yes.
Yes.
Here's an even easier way to do it. That the only disadvantage to this is that all this intel is not going to be created, and so it limits it. But if your students if you guys are using this multiple times, and you understand that your students all have internet access, and they are not going to be using the phone to call in, we don't want to limit some users that might have that. They might be forced to use a phone. Think about equity and making accessible to all users. If you have like a small class and they all have internet connection and everything's working, then you would just go to Tools, Zoom Meeting, and this will completely integrate. It'll start the Zoom meeting within the application. This is kind of complicated. Do it the other way, and then once you get comfortable with that, you could use that. Does that make sense?
Yep.
All right. The important thing is the web link, and I should have probably included this in my next meeting. I'll probably include this in the web link, or I don't know. I'll think about that, but you guys don't care. But you need all this information. All they have to do now is click on that. But just in case some students don't have internet connection or something, they could just call and listen to your class discussion. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. How'd it go? Anything else? Any other questions? That was a great question, Steve. I forgot about that. Thank you for reminding me. And this is my piece of advice. Have confidence and just go for it. Tack it all. Just play around. Again, if you don't want to show your students, give access to it because you're going to be playing around, click on that. And then when you're done and you're confident that your media and documents are successful, make it available. And that's it in a nutshell. It's a lot. Start slowly, build confidence, and set sail, as they say in the Navy. Any other questions?
No, that's pretty much it.
No? Last chance.
Okay. Thank you, Brian.
All right, thank you guys. Hey, look, this is a very talented.
I wanted to mention, Brian, I'm sorry.
Yep, go.
Just one thing we never mentioned. When you were uploading stuff, there was definitely some Blackboard Ally score stuff happening. And if anybody has questions about that, they can reach out to me in terms of accessibility level. I just wanted to mention that briefly.
This thing that Michael's talking about, you guys can talk about that. And yeah, this is actually a great point. Any reading that we have, and this is all for the student end user. Trying to find a reading.
They're right there beneath the video.
All right, reading on Brazil. See this thing? If they click on that, you don't really have to. Hold on a second. Click on that A thing. It'll present your students, and this is great. Alternative formats. If they want to listen, you guys could listen to it too. It'll automatically create that document, that Word file, that PDF into a MP3. It'll automatically create it into electronic Braille, EPUB, or HTML. That's your students. You can take great advantage of that, and Michael works on that. And I really think that we're going to be promoting that more because now everyone's online.
Right, exactly. It's becoming more critical now. So.
You know, and there's some people that have problems with whatever, and they need that. Michael, there's one question I have right online, and I got to bring this up. If they're taking it, because now we're not. I think I brought this up in a EIT. Anyone that could leave, you could leave now. Thank you for joining. I just want to talk to Michael and Diana really quickly. I think I brought this up at an EIT meeting. I'm not sure if I did. For a students to take a online exam, right?
Mm.
Let's say they have whatever, they're visually impaired. Ally does nothing for this. Does nothing for it. Only does it on a file basis. But this
if they're visually impaired, we're taking other steps as far as I would know. Lindsay has been kind of working on that kind of stuff.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, because they'd have a problem with this. There is a software that if you guys want to pay for it and be supported, it acts like Browse Aloud within Blackboard. So so if you go to test, it'd be like a Browse Aloud feature that could read. It can't. For visually impaired people, this would, you know, you could create alternative formats for these reading, but they can't read this. You know what I mean? They need Browse Aloud reads the Marymount web page, but within Blackboard, yes, they can download a MP3. But what if they can't
see their way to get there?
Yeah. How do they see their way to taking a test? I'm going to forward you that information right after this, the software, and it's a good idea to reach out on that.
All right, thanks, Brian. I appreciate that.
All right, any other questions? I'm going to go take a nap.
All right, Brian, thanks. This was great. I mean, there was definitely a couple of little nuanced things that I thought were helpful just in terms of like me giving advice, because a lot of people have been coming to me with, well, not tons, but like a few that I work with have been asking some questions. And I think that some of the nuanced stuff will help to just kind of make it, make them feel a little more comfortable. So thanks for this. It was great.
Yeah, no problem, guys. I'll see you soon, hopefully. Take care. Bye.
All right. Take it easy, Brian.